off to the side. How y'all doing tonight? We had some unfortunate stuff happen, so we could not stream the normal Tuesday night game that normally goes on. However, I picked up a brick of the new Fangs and Talons minis a bit ago, and I wanted everyone to see them because I know that not everyone uses minis that I do. And so we're going to go through the brick. It's probably going to be a quick little thing, but I wanted to make sure you guys got some content in your bellies. We do have stuff going on Thursday, so as always, if you haven't already, follow the channel. If you have the money for it, consider subscribing, and join us on Thursday for our next episode of Mini Paint and Chill. We're going to be doing the cloakers. I'm really excited about this set because it's everything else that we haven't really gotten. This one and the Boneyard set that's coming out. I don't know what the layout's going to be for this because I did get 2 unsealed half bricks for my whole brick. So hopefully they were like, oh, Michael, you paid an extra $30 because we dropped the price of the brick. We're just going to give you all the good minis. Hopefully. So we are having a good night. We just had some issues with some emergencies coming up with other players in our group, so we are taking the night off. We will be back next week for Underdark spooktacular stuff. I don't even know. We are going to go ahead and just get into this. Chris has already opened it up, so let's see what we got. So if you are not accustomed with how minis work, each booster box, which is this is a very large one comparatively to what they usually are, comes with a large or huge mini, and then 3 medium or small or tiny minis. This set has some pretty cool minis in it, so I'm excited to see what we get. And starting off pretty strong.
Well, the important thing to say is that they're randomly assorted.
Yes,
so
they are.
They're blind boxes. You don't know specifically what minis are going to be in them.
Completely random.
Every set has somewhere between 35 and 55 minis released with it. And there are changing rarities from common up to rares. So there are less rares in the set, and when you get like a big brick, typically you're guaranteed to get at least 1 or 2 of them out of the set. So that's going to be interesting, seeing with this cracked open brick whether or not, we get any at all.
Minis are expensive too. Chris and I split a case of minis, and that was quite a chunk of change. We spent about an hour and a half unboxing all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each box has 4 minis in it. A brick is 8 boxes, so 32 minis total. And then a case is 4 bricks.
32 boxes.
So 128 minis.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. But starting off really strong, I did see what the large looks like. It is a merit, and it looks real good. Like he's a hefty board. He looks pretty cool. Oh.
Tight plastic.
And I like the fact that the clear plastic, when you turn it like this, has that blue color to it because of the bottom. But he's pretty cool. I ain't gonna lie. He's if you want to help me focus, it's not.
Oh, is it? Oh, kids, this is gonna be hard.
Perfect. He looks pretty well done. I've been super happy with the paint job that they've had coming out recently at WizKids. And Chris and I have talked about this a lot. They just seem to get better and better. The bigger ones are definitely going to be better than the smaller ones from what I've seen on pictures, but I like that.
So,
yeah.
But before we move on, for those, because some people watching might not be super familiar with what each and every one of these miniatures is, what the monsters are representing. So the Mirage is it's a type of genie, because in D&D there are 4 types of genies, one for each of the standard elements: water, earth, air, fire. The actual genie is the air one, the Ifrit or Ifrit is the fire, a Dao is the earth one, and this is the water one. And in all of the 5th edition WizKids minis, this is the first time this one's ever been released, so that's really cool.
Alrighty. So then we got a lizard folk, a straight up lizard folk. I like these sculpts because they're much bigger than the formal ones, and they have a much cooler paint job to them. He's got some like war paint on his face. Lizard folk specifically usually are they are normally in some kind of service to like a dragon of some sort. So you can find them. I think you threw them at us when we were fighting those twin black dragons.
Yeah, they're typically swamp creatures. They're most notable for having no like sense of emotion. They're very cold and calculated in normal D&D lore. They're cannibalistic, according to standard D&D lore, which is always a fun time. They are a playable character race ever since Volo's Guide to Monsters came out and introduced them as such. Another really cool one coming out here.
Yeah, they started releasing more commons with natural like players. So this is a Goliath Fighter. He's a big boy. He's holding looks to be a warhammer.
Yeah, he's actually pretty tall. Here's the mini that we're using for Kyron, for example. We gotta go lower.
Yeah, this is Tiefling Battle Master. And
pretty big boy. Yeah,
he's a good, I'd say quarter inch taller. Also, yeah, I love the lizard folk. The thing I love about a lot of the monstrous races is they have started to, throughout like Volo's Guide and what else? Mordenkainen's foes. Mordenkainen's foes. They've released like styles of like monstrous races, so it's not just like, oh, your standard lizard folk. It's like, oh, here's a chief, here's a shaman, here's like an actual society.
Variants the stat blocks.
Yeah. So this is the third guy. Good box so far. And
I'm very happy about them releasing more Goliath minis. I play a Goliath in our Monday night game, who I love very much. That game's not streamed, so you guys won't hear too much about it. But I have a big place in my heart for Goliaths.
Yeah. And then last but not least in this box we have Tiny Boy Twigblight. He is very tiny. I'm trying to get him his.
Here, try rotating this way.
Oh, that's better. The shadow's not bad.
We also probably want a second light.
He looks like he's glabbing at you. He's glabbing. He's doing his grabby hands.
That's not helping.
Here, I can narrow that one.
Can you also... Does this one have a setting? Can you pop this one up a little bit?
I don't know if I can pop it up anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's fine.
We'll just have to be careful.
But yeah, he's cool. So that's the first set. Pretty happy with it.
Yeah, Twigblights been in 5th edition since the standard monster manual. They're not too nothing too crazy about them. They're a pretty common enemy in they're a pretty common enemy in places like Barovia. So the Curse of Strahd adventure features them a lot. They're typically connected to like dark druids and stuff like that. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. This was one of my favorite minis in the set that I was really happy they were coming out. He's a beast. He's a beast. Oh, this one didn't have a
bag
in it. Yeah. This is a dire troll, and they look awesome. If you don't follow her on YouTube or subscribe to her channel, V-Muse does works basically, I think, with WizKids, and does videos of the minis that they have coming out. But I mean, he is gnarly. Like, it's hard to like do this thing justice because he looks so good.
It's a big fucking chunk.
Oh, he's big. Yeah, my favorite is this face on the back because he just looks like he's having a grand time. I love him.
So dire trolls are basically what happens when a troll is a cannibal and consumes other trolls, like eats any troll meat, because with as per most troll lore, not just D&D, but in a bunch of different mythology, like trolls have the ability to regenerate. So those pieces that are being eaten are also regenerating, and you end up with this crazy abomination. Really cool, much larger than the typical D&D troll, which is only a large mini rather than huge. Super cool to see. Paint job on this guy is pretty stellar, especially compared to older sets they've released.
This is not held for. I think this is just animated armor. Yeah. But this is also one of those things that they just never came out with, and then finally started releasing these for. You can use it as a helmet. Like, there's no real. The only thing is that it's based off of the artwork for
straight out of the monster.
Yeah, straight out.
Yeah. This one's useful. You could just use it as a dude in a suit of armor.
Yep. Who happens to have a hard time walking. I mean, it could literally be anything, but it's a beautiful piece. Like I said, I'm really happy. The sculpts are also just
lots of tiny detail. Really good sculpting work on it.
He's cool.
Fire Genasi
Fighter. So, like I said before, with the Goliath, they're releasing a lot of. They're releasing more and more like player character pieces.
The uncommon races, similar to like the Goliath.
So, Fire Genasi specifically are there are 4 races, well, multiple races of Genasi, but the Genasi are basically like
half elemental, half genie, sort of. The 4 elements match the same elements that we mentioned earlier with the Merid and the Ifrit and all the genie types.
But the hair color, the skin color usually go along with whatever element they're based off of. So,
it's a humanoid. You could just use it as a dark skin, dyed hair, real punk looking human.
Yeah. But I like that skin.
This last one's a funny one.
Yeah, this one I'm pretty sure it came from. One of the new adventures. Yeah, one of the new adventures that came out. This is Skeletal Alchemist. He's holding a little potion bottle and he's wearing a little hat.
Is he from Ghosts of Saltmarsh?
I think it is Ghosts of Saltmarsh.
Yeah, he's basically he's a skeleton in a robe that has a beard. So
take that as you will. But he's a really cool skeleton. I dig the detail on his robe. It's really cool. And that potion bottle is just like a nice little touch.
Yeah, little transparent bits. His beard is a little bit transparent because it is supposed to be like a ghostly beard, which is really fun.
All right, next in line, 3 boxes in. Don't you use those?
Oh no, this is just a.
This is
just a little like.
This is 8 rare.
Oh, okay.
This is 45 out of 45.
I don't remember the
Player beware if your Dungeon Master hates you.
I've already used one of these in my Sunday campaign. They're fucking crazy.
The picture does not do it justice.
This is such a fuck. So, oh my god. This is what's called a Nightwalker. It is a challenge rating 17 undead fucking crazy monster. I've actually used one of these. I had to use a proxy mini that was not this size. This would have been so much more impressive.
It's big. Like, I did not think it was going to be that big. For comparison, like this is the dire troll next to it. Like they are in no way. Like this thing is big.
This is one of the player scale minis right here. On its like, oh my gosh.
That's so pretty.
The crazy thing about the Nightwalker, apart from his dope ass horns, like this sculpt is so good. I have some 3D prints of like of fan made sculpts of the Nightwalker, but like this is up there with them. I would probably rather have this. Because this is so dope. Plus, I don't want to have to print stuff out that I don't have to. So the crazy thing about the Nightwalker, when they have the ability to straight up like kill you in a way that like you can't come back. if I remember correctly, they have like a death aura to where you just take damage from being around them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm pretty sure if they kill you, you cannot be...
Oh, you can't be
You
resurrected.
can't be revived.
Unless it's like by a wish spell. Or maybe
Yeah,
it's
like-
even like without a wish spell. They're nasty.
Some of these guys are already popping out of there. So there's a sort of double.
Yeah. The other version of the Goliath.
It's pretty much all the way this way.
Another version of the Goliath Fighter. This one just has a sword. Some of the weapons tend to get bent when they come in, just because how
It's part of the molding process. When you demold these are injection molded. When you demold the hot plastic, when it suddenly cools in the air, the really thin pieces of plastic, they're liable to just curve. Luckily, you can fix it pretty easily by using a trick with hot water to like sort of reflex that plastic, moving it to the position you want, and then dunking it quickly in like ice cold water to like set it in that position that you want. It's something that you have to worry about with these softer plastics. With like harder resins, you don't really have to worry about it.
first true duplicate.
Yeah, first true duplicate. We have another identical
really-
as well.
Which I'm okay with because I love these sculpts, and honestly, you can never get too much of a monstrous race, especially if you plan on using any kind of them.
Yeah,
Because they usually come in. You don't wanna
they're
just
they're
throw
common
one.
for a reason.
Yeah, but they're beautiful comics. They're also big. Yeah, these are long.
And last one from the box, a Thayan Apprentice.
A Thayan Apprentice.
Red Wizards of Thay.
Yep. So, for the other person that's in this chat, thank you, Eddie Calvin. The Red Wizards of Thay are notoriously known for necromancy. In fact, Thay, if I recall, is run by 3 liches.
Yep.
Yeah, there's 3 lich lords that run the city of Thay, and they are very well known. And it is very hard to get in and, for that matter, out of the city. If you go look at Tales from the Yawning Portal, there should be a specific adventure that has Thay in it. So, yeah.
One of the first adventures released back when D&D 5th edition was still playtesting as D&D Next was called Dead in Thay. It was a very widely playtested adventure because it was basically the first big thing that came out with 5e.
So, somewhat of a duplicate. Because we've already painted them.
Yeah, but not from the box.
But not from the box, no. So now I have 3 of them.
You should grab one of the ones from one of the ones that you painted to compare them.
Yeah, the sculpt's a little different, but it looks good.
It's an Earth Elemental. Pretty solid. This isn't the first time that Earth Elementals have been released, but this one does seem a little bit bigger than the previous ones, and the sculpt is slightly different from the unpainted version. You can see that they're definitely based off the same character, but they're just posed slightly different. That's pretty cool. I really like that. I feel like they sort of committed one of what I consider like the sins of mini painting, which is to use a black wash on like a proper color, because it doesn't really work well, in my opinion. Like if they had used a brown wash, I think it would have turned out a lot better. But overall, solid sculpt. I don't see any mold lines, which is cool. That's something that's true for a lot of these new minis. Like their molding process has definitely been improved so much.
I think I have another one.
We've got another duplicate here. We've got another version of the Goliath with a sword.
Which, again, is okay. It's not always ideal to get duplicates, but it's also not always a bad thing.
Yeah, because the Goliath is actually a common. He's the first one in the set. At least the sword version is. A Goblin says, super interesting to hear people talk about D&D, don't know anything specific about monsters. So, good thing you're here, because...
we know a lot.
Yeah,
At least our DMs for
enough interest, enough to hold a conversation about it at least.
Well, I could have used this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you can give me all of my ghosts back now.
Yeah, it's a banshee, one of the ghostly type undead, and each one has different attributes to it. There are obviously ghosts, specters, and the banshee's other ghost one is a little wraiths, and sword wraiths and stuff.
Non-corporeal undead.
But it's a cool sculpt. I like this. The
Oh,
hair
yeah.
flowing in the back, the handout.
There's a really cool little detail with it that you can't pick up on camera, but in person you can see that the eyes and mouth are painted with like this metallic bright red, which is really cool. It's a nice little detail.
Yeah, it's also got looks like he had a heart in his hand.
Yeah, when it comes to the undead minis, I sort of treat them all as like interchangeable because, you know, what's the difference between a ghost and a banshee visually? It's up to you. Got another green hag. That's a new skull.
Yeah, I don't have a green hag actually.
I think I have a couple.
Yeah, you have. I use yours. Hags are one of my favorite D&D monsters. You can ask the group. I literally have thrown them at them like three times now. They are one of the most versatile in my mind monsters. Interesting stories about hags specifically. If you paid attention to the new book coming out, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, Tasha's canonical mother is the
Baba Yaga. She's a hag.
Yeah, is the like hag queen Baba Yaga.
I think she's adopted mother.
It is adopted mother, but canonical still mother. But green hags are awesome. They're mostly fey and kind of the most base creature that hags can be.
Yeah. So the green hag is basically the exact image of the sort of evil stepmother's witch disguise from Snow White, like cackling, big witch nose, all of that. This is not the first time that a green hag mini has been released by WizKids. There is a much older version from one of the much earlier sets, but this one is a much better sculpt, a lot better detail, because I think the old Green Hag was from maybe the first or second set, Tyranny of Dragons or Rage Demons, one of them.
I thought it was one of the Monster Menagerie.
It could be Monster Menagerie 1. That was still pretty early. That was like set 4 or 5.
All right.
Not great, but this one is much better, so I'm glad they brought it back.
Also happy with this because I don't have one.
Oh, nice.
A beautiful sculpt and very like good, vibrant flame color. You got a
fire elemental.
Pretty big boy fire elemental. I mean, he's big.
Yeah, it's a large size, so it's
big.
This is the proper size that most of the ones listed in the stat block, this challenge rating 5 stat block from the monster manual that's typically used the most, does show a large size elemental for all of the types, which includes the earth elemental from over here as well. This is definitely not the first fire elemental that's been released by WizKids. There was some in the Pathfinder line. There have been some smaller ones released as well.
He's got a good paint job.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, this one is translucent. It is translucent. So if I stuck a light behind it, you'd be able to see through it. But they do a lot of heavy yellow dry brushing on this one to. It's sort of hard to see. There we go. Get it farther away.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, you can. There's definitely
you can see
a lot of glow through it. What I might do with these, if I had one, would be actually to drill out the bottom and put a little LED.
That actually be a really good
flicker, which is really nice with these clear bases too, because it'd be a little easier to see what you're doing. You could just go straight through the base if you wanted to, instead of having to pry it off or do guesswork. I know you're happy about this one.
Yes, I've also. If there's two things that you can tell anyone about a campaign that you're in with me, it's that I love hags and I love kobolds. They're one of the most versatile creatures ever. I was so glad when they became a playable race. This is specifically a kobold scale sorcerer. These wings that it has on its back are actually not real wings.
Yeah, they're like patchwork.
They're patchwork. They're made. they also, much like lizard folk, but in a more revering and kind of panicked fashion, will worship dragons of sorts. And some of them emulate dragons that they like. It is a really cool sculpt, and the paint job on the back really gives you that like patchwork look. They're really nice.
Yeah, this is a great little mini. Kobolds are another one of those things that you just can't get enough minis of them. They're a very low challenge rating creature, so it is, even at higher levels, it is super appropriate to just chuck a shit ton of them at your players.
Yeah.
There's this thought experiment / sort of trap idea that is coined Tucker's Kobolds, which is basically the practice of how to use kobolds in such a way to threaten even higher level players by basically playing the kobolds and running them as really trap heavy, like devious creatures that, like I said, could really put a fright to even high level parties.
Which they are threatening devious creatures, which is why I love this much. So this creature is interesting. Also an undead, I believe.
Yes. Was that the
Skulk?
Yes.
This is the one that only children can see. They like show up as like friends to children, and they like fight on their behalf. But they're like super creepy, and they always like freak the parents of the kids out because of like their kids talking to some kind of random being. So.
Another sort of could be considered a non-corporeal undead, or the mini could be used that way at least.
Yeah, easy. It could be a really nice.
That could be an invisible stalker. That could be an unseen servant. It's a really versatile mini. I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, I saw you holding it over there.
So this is this one in particular is an ambush drake. If you can see it, is basically modeled after a green dragon, but much smaller and without wings. So the cool thing about drakes is they were much bigger in older editions, and I don't think they all got stat blocks in 5th edition yet, but there is a matching drake for each dragon color of the chromatics at least. I don't think there's any canon metallic drakes, but that would be really cool.
Well, with the Drake Warden coming out for the UA of Ranger, I think they do have metallic dragons now.
Metallic drake.
Or metallic.
So yeah, the ambush drake is modeled after a green dragon. It does have a green breath weapon. Poison breath weapon, just like a regular dragon does. I think the lore with the way that drakes are created is by like corrupting young dragon eggs or something. I don't remember.
Possible?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I would have to look it up.
There are other drake types. The guard drake, modeled after a blue dragon, is one of the bigger, scarier ones. That one does have a stat block in the regular monster manual. It's my current mount in the Neverwinter and the Pyrite Guard Drake. The Rage Drake is the red one. That doesn't have an official 5e stat block yet, but I've used that in my games to great effect. Bro, you're just getting all the elementals.
Did I get a water?
No.
Is it air?
Yeah.
Because I already have a water, so this will complete my set. I'm happy with this. I don't have a lot of these elementals, and the sculpts that they were coming out with, they have unpainted ones as well for them.
Yo, you got... doubles in the same box.
Weird's really cool.
This would be a great box to get.
Oh, they're not doubles. They're separate.
I mean,
yeah.
Still, but same.
That's fine.
So yeah, more translucent / transparent plastic. This guy has a very ever so slight tint to him, like probably the lightest glaze ever, just in a couple key spots, like a sort of a blue, or maybe there was a bit of blue mixed into the plastic, but it's very cool. This guy could use a nice little gray or white dry brush to really catch those edges.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is another great mini. So that's 3 out of the 4 elemental types.
Which is good, yeah, because I don't really need a water elemental because I already have one, but it doesn't hurt to have one.
I have one of the huge water elementals from the
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Literally, I have a water elemental that's like this guy's size. It's pretty crazy. I love using it every once in a while.
It's like This is the last box we're opening. Just feel it.
Oh yeah, I know. We got another Skeletal Alchemist.
Yeah.
Quick little double. Get that guy out of the way.
Yeah, which I'm happy about. I like these.
Yeah, they're good. I really like the hat on him. That nice like classic wizard hat.
So these specifically are not technically doubles because WizKids is sneaky.
2 variants.
They have started to release minis in a set that are basically the same mini, but they have different weapons. So these little guys are, if you watch Critical Role, there is a character named Spurt who is what this is.
Cobalt Inventor.
Shout out Chris Perkins. Cobalt Inventor, and this is it's the Cobalt Inventor. Oh no, it's 2 and 15, so they're 2 different numbers.
Yeah, they get 2.
This one has the pot of slime, I think.
Pot of rock crabs, I think.
A pot of rock crabs, that's what it is. And this one has the scorpion tail on a stick.
Scorpion nice.
Again, always great to have a bunch of Cobalt minis, just because they never show up as one. You're always going to have them as multiples. And each of them has a skunk on its back, because that's also a weapon.
Yeah, a skunk in a cage. Lovely stuff.
Alright.
Yeah, even if you don't watch Critical Role, it's so worth it to look up the video of Spurt's appearance.
A+.
He is only present for maybe a few minutes of game time before he reaches like his end.
Climax.
Yeah. Fucking hilarious.
Oh, it's great. So this is our second to last box. The last box is by far the heaviest box, which makes me happy. So this is our next box. Oh, also could have used this a few weeks ago.
Yeah. I can't see what it is yet. Oh, dang. Oh, that's so much smaller than I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I saw it come out, I was like,
that feels like a bit of a waste.
I think this is a...
so Yuan-Ti Anathema.
I think this is an uncommon.
What's the number?
31.
Yeah.
So Yuan-Ti Anathema are actually really interesting. I threw an undead one at the party before the stream started. They are the highest rank of Yuan-Ti, who are these snake people who worship the gods Zahir.
Or Dendar the Night Serpent.
Or
whatever
variant of Zahir, or a serpent god that you have. They definitely are interesting. They actually talked about this. We talked about this. The white of their hands is actually probably a really bad take on the WizKids group.
Or the whoever translated the art in the book to the mini paint job. I don't know why they picked the bright white on the arms, because it does sort of look like that in Bolo's Guide to Monsters.
But it's still scaled in green. So
yeah.
it's not the same color. I'm not unhappy with it. It's a beautiful sculpt, but if I was to change anything, I would definitely go over and probably paint over the arms to make them more of a greenish texture to fit with the scales. So.
Interestingly, the name Anathema basically means someone who's been like excommunicated from a religion, which makes it really weird that the Anathema is basically worshipped as a demigod. It sort of feels like whoever picked that name sort of didn't understand what the word means, or there's something a lot deeper going on with their explanation that I don't understand.
Also could have used this about a week ago. This is a Vampiric Mist. It is just a large fart. Quite literally.
It's what a vampire turns into after they've been defeated, but haven't been, like, vanquished by, like, destroying their coffin, place of rest, what have you.
Stuff like that. But there were a few of these that were definitely part of that fog bug. But they didn't come around. It's probably a good thing. But yeah, they float around and then they make their way back to their coffin where they start to regenerate and do next up is a Boggle, which I think is a Fang, if I remember.
Yeah. Little tiny gremlin with a giant head.
Yeah.
I think this one is also from either Bolo's Guide or Mordenkainen's. I don't remember which one.
Cool.
Probably.
I don't know too much about them.
I don't remember either. I think I skipped over them because I didn't find them particularly interesting. But they are Fae, which does give them a sort of mischievous vibe. Yeah. Also, they have the same name as a board game, which is fucking hilarious.
which is mind-boggling.
Okay, so I'm pulling up the
Yeah,
the
he's
wiki on this one real quick.
Cool. I mean, his eyes are
It apparently leaves a like sticky oil puddle wherever it goes, which is kind of gross.
I don't even know what it is. I don't want to know. This one I'm very happy about, and Hunter will also be happy about. This is an Mirage. They are these like tiny little unicorn bunnies.
Yeah.
From Schultz.
Yep.
You can find them in Tomb of Annihilation. They are good-natured, I believe. Celestials?
Celestial Fae, I don't remember.
Celestial Fae, something like that. But they are super cute, super wonderful, and one of the best. I think they talked about the fact that it was it was actually something that they.
Oh, cool.
I think I know what it is, but I'm not sure. They were like, hey, I need you to just make something up, and someone made it up randomly.
Yeah, it's pretty much a jackalope, but with a unicorn horn instead of deer horns.
Yeah. It's a cool mini. The funny thing is, it's bigger than the Boggle, which I don't think that's actually
It's
their size.
well, yeah, because it's based off of, visually it's based off a rabbit, but it's like the size of a dog, or the size of a halfling, pretty much. So it's very large based on the mini.
All right.
I think generally they've been used as like options for like familiars
Yes.
and like little animal companions. They're very cute.
All right. Last box. It's one of a couple things.
I already know. Do you want to put your guess in?
Okay. So based off what I've seen, I really, and I'm not gonna look at you when I say it, so you can't give it away. I really want it to be one of the dragons because I have still yet to pick a dragon out. But I also feel like it's probably the T-Rex. But I will now open and see. We shall find out. I can't see.
It's the T-Rex.
It's the T-Rex. Okay. Yeah, because I saw that it's.
It took me a hot second to figure out what it was too, because you're looking at the ass end when you look in the top of the box.
Yeah, because it comes with the tail detached because it's just so big.
Yeah, it's a smart thing that they've started doing with some of the minis that, you know, they want to do the sculpt justice, but they are limited by the size of this box, because this is a standard size that they've had established since the first 5th edition set came out.
And this is actually, believe it or not, an uncommon.
Yeah. Well, so there's the uncommon means there's probably 4 in the entire case, so there's probably 1 per brick.
Yes, they did a when they bought a case.
Super cool.
When they bought a base or a case, they got 3 of these, and I was like, "What are you gonna do with 3 T-Rexes?"
That's such
This big boy is like what, 8 inches from tip to tail?
Yeah.
And kind of like large, like
so in scale, roughly 40 to 45 feet long.
yeah. I mean, compare it to not the Goliath, but the Genasi. I mean, you've got
Straight up fits in the mouth, Jurassic Park style.
yeah, it's accurate rendition.
That's super dope. I remember back in our game where you had Warren and you transformed into a Tyrannosaurus, which, I mean, I am always tentative to allow, because allowing a challenge rating 8 fucking crazy monster of a dinosaur into the game is sort of something you can't take back. When the first time you let the wizard polymorph into it, it's like, you can't really take that back.
That's why I don't let it unless you've seen it.
This is by far the largest and best T-Rex sculpt that WizKids has released. They have an unpainted one that's a little bit smaller. The sculpt definitely nearly isn't as good. This is probably I love this. Not only because I super duper love dinosaurs, but like, this is just such a good decision that they made. The only thing that I think is sort of off on it is the fact that where the mold, where the 2 pieces fit together isn't perfect. And I mean, if you have this mini yourself and you wanted to sort of patch that up with green stuff and fill that hole and repaint it, it would be a pretty easy fix. But this is such a great mini.
Yeah.
I love it. Tyrannosauruses, feature heavily as one of the bigger, crazier enemies in
Also,
Tomb of Mutilation. Same place that the Mirage shows up. Specifically, there's a zombie T-Rex called the Tyrant who spits out zombies periodically.
That's pretty dope.
And then there's the King of Spines, who is another T-Rex, who has like electricity breath. They're both fucking crazy.
Interesting.
Super cool. I love this.
Yeah, that's a dope. I'm glad it's an uncommon for those people.
He's like front heavy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because he's such a chungus. Three little ones left.
I'm okay
all
with this.
Good pulls.
Yeah,
they're all new.
Yeah, and uncommon. So easy one to get out of the way. Giant wolf spider. You can also again these ones you can just never have enough spiders because they're just you're gonna throw a lot of them at your party.
Yeah. This is the second giant wolf spider mini that WizKids has released. The earlier one is also a medium, but it's probably about half the size of this one. Probably the most use that a campaign would see out of a giant wolf spider would be it's one of the easier lower level wild shapes for a druid to obtain. And it's one of the only ones that has like the ability to climb on walls and stuff. So depending on what sort of utility a druid is looking for, they might use this as a wild shape. I think every single druid that I've played with has turned into it at least once.
Yeah, it's because of spider climb and everything like that. And we also painted the spiders, the giant spiders. Those are a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah, different monster. The giant wolf spider and the giant spider are two separate monsters, two different stat blocks. I think the giant spider is challenge rating 2, 1, something not crazy high.
No, because it can't be too high for.
Yeah, the wolf spider is only 1/4 or 1/2. Like I said, low enough for a low-level druid to be able to turn into pretty early.
All right, so the last two minis that we have, I'll do the Gloom Weaver first. Dope outside like little translucent blue Gloom Weaver. Gloom Weavers they're Shadow Kai, aren't they?
I think so.
They are a pale elf that this one. Perfect.
Sure.
Gloom Weavers are of a race known as the Shadow Kai, which are basically a complete race that is dedicated to the Raven King, and have been warped by the Shadowfell as a whole. I actually have a couple of Shadow Kai already in my collection, but they're like with the lizard folk and many other things. It never hurts to have multiple kinds because there are different kinds of Shadow Kai. Gloom Weavers, there are Shadow Kai Shadow Dancers, I think is what they're called.
Yeah, a bunch of like edgy punk elves, basically.
Yeah, they're pretty dope.
The Gloom Weaver in particular is a 12th level spellcaster, challenge rating 9. Just that one by itself can hold its own against a pretty low level party. It's super dope. That's a super cool one. We really should have saved this one for like last and put it out of the way.
I mean, this is still a good one to end on now. So uncommon Tabaxi Fighter. Tabaxi are cat people. This one has kind of a leopard print. Holding a shield, and again the sword's a little bended, but
little buckler shield.
But it's just a cool story. Tabaxi are awesome to play as. When we had a game with David, one of my players, a while ago, I played his cat Moose as a Tabaxi barbarian, which was a riot.
Was that when
a lot of fun?
That's when I played George Gilish.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, because it was that one shot. I loved that.
But yeah, Tabaxi Fighter. That's our last mini. I will probably pick up another booster box, if not a brick, because just the commons in these are so good, and the odds that I get the same. I mean, getting 45 out of 45, I'm happy with. Again, I would have loved to get one of the. I think there are 2 dragons in this set. There's a blue one and a red one as well. The other one that I really...
That's annoying.
The other one that I really wanted to get was the Forest. I really wanted
Oh
the
yeah,
Forest.
I forgot to ask before we started, like, what's the one mini you're looking for the most? I had forgot the T-Rex was in here, so I probably would have said the T-Rex. I also don't think I've seen the full sculpt out like this. That's super dope.
There was nothing in this set that I really needed. I was basically, I knew I was going to get a T-Rex because I've seen, I watched Gallant Goblin, and they had every brick that they got a T-Rex in.
Yeah. So I'll spoil one of Kimmy's gifts that's going to you and to me. We went to Fallout and we grabbed, I think there was like 2 or 3 bricks worth of Fangs and Talons hanging on the wall. We grabbed the 2 heaviest. One's going to you, one's going to me.
Oh.
So sorry, Kimmy, if you're watching that I sort of spoiled one of your gifts, but like TBH, you can't keep a secret anyway, so you probably would have told him at some point anyway. But luckily, because it's a blind box, we don't technically know what we're getting anyway. So like, knowing
Watch
we're
us
getting
both
it,
get T-Rexes again.
I would not be mad. Just like, hey, you want to throw 3 T-Rexes at a party all at once? Like,
Yeah.
that would be
looking at you, Matt Mercer.
that would be a hilarious encounter.
Yeah. No, I really wanted the Dire Troll. That
for
was what I was looking for. Honestly, I wanted every other elemental except the water. Those were what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I did want the dragon, as I'm sure a lot of people did. But that was also one that I was like, I don't know if I'm going to throw it at you guys or anyone ever, but it's such a beautiful mini.
Yeah,
Like, it is a set piece that you can, like, lay on your desk and just have it sit there, and, like, people be like, oh, what is that?
yeah, it's in the realm where it's large enough to be a statuette and not just a miniature.
Yeah.
Like, sure, it has game functionality, but like this is what? This thing's like 6 inches tall, almost 5.5, 6 inches. Like,
Well, I mean,
this thing you can see it from across the room. Yeah, so like, well, I'm thinking of how long's a dollar bill, so just short of it. Yeah,
might
this.
even be bigger.
Yeah. Altogether, what would you rate, like, the results of this opening?
The results of this opening, like 1 through 10, or like
Yeah.
A, B, C.
No, 1 through 10.
1 through 10. I'd give it an 8. I always like opening up new bricks. I mean, when we opened up Dungeon of the Mad Mage, I wasn't really DMing too much at that point, and there was no use for them. But I just love minis. Like, they're cool. And like, I know everyone's like, oh, virtual tabletop's the way to go right now because pandemic. But I will forever and always use. I mean, I've got so much Dwarven Forge. There's literally a map that we were going to use tonight if we had played on the table, and I just love the minis. I love minis. I love painting them. I love seeing the new sculpts that WizKids is coming out with. It's just fun. It's like adult toys, or I mean, it's just toys.
Yeah.
But worth it. I mean, I will say it's definitely lessened, so I may push it down to a 7 just because they did drop the price in the bricks from 125 to 95, and they didn't refund the $30 back.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucked. I wish they would have been like, oh hey, you know, we charged you $30 extra. Here's an extra like 2 like booster boxes.
That would have been dope.
Which I wouldn't even have minded if it was like a repeat. Like if we had gotten another like Earth Elemental or another Fire Elemental or another T-Rex, I wouldn't have minded that. It was just the fact that they didn't refund it after things went up. But I get the market changes a lot. So, but yeah, I'm super happy with these. I'm glad. I mean, I've got so many fucking Earth Elementals right now.
Yeah, when it comes to, like, luckily we didn't get barely any duplicates at all, and the only ones that we got were, like, useful.
Yeah,
I
like
think the worst duplicates to get is, like, that 3rd Goliath. Because, like, 2 Goliaths, 1 with each weapon, that's dope. The 3rd Goliath, though, like,
you can always
pushing it a little bit.
You can always have them run into like a roving band of barbarians or something.
Yeah, and like you can always repaint one or two of them to change up their accessory colors a little bit, make them stand out a bit more.
More than 2 of these, I would have been like, okay, that's a little bit too much. 2 of these, you can do a cool, like, yeah. 2 of these, you can do like a cool, like, weird twin Skeletal Alchemist.
Mirror image,
yeah. Anything like that. So I just love the skull. I think they're so fun. The fact that it's a skeleton just makes me laugh. The animated armor, great grab, because you can use this, like you said, as someone who's armored, someone who is
bad boy back.
Oh, you just but you can really do a lot with the animated armor, which I'm super happy with. Any and all of the player character ones, like the Genasi, the Tabaxi, the Goliath, you can do a lot with that. You can create your own party of NPCs if you want to. So I'm super happy with those, and the paint job again has just gotten better and better. The Thayan Red Wizard. It's always great to have some necromancer, weird looking wizard thing.
Yeah, that's a generic enough spellcaster enemy.
Yeah.
Or
you throw it on the table and freak people out. They're like, "Oh, you described exactly what it is. Did you paint that?" Nope, I didn't. The least use of all of these, I would say, will probably be the Boggle and the Twig.
Yeah, same.
Not because they are the tiniest, just because they're such a low challenge rating, and your guys' party is so high that I wouldn't throw anything like that.
Unless it's a Twig Blight controlling a Tyrannosaurus.
Yes, that's true. With its Boggle friend.
They're just on an adventure together. He's so fucking knobby that I can't. There we go. There we go. They're best friends.
The Green Hag is definitely going to get some use, not even in just your guys' campaign, but in general. I love hags. I will use hags till the day I die. Jeremy Crawford and I have a similar mind. I will literally tweet him all the time and be like, "I love you." I portrayed Mad Maggie the other night, and I channeled my energy because it's just
Jeremy Crawford.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, the last thing I said regarding Jeremy Crawford was specifically "fuck you, Jeremy Crawford."
Yeah, because of the Sage Advice stuff.
Yes, but okay, I did also have to take that back because even though he ruled it the one way, they reversed that in the errata like 2 weeks afterwards.
Let's see. Least use is those. Most use?
I swear to God, if you say the Nightwalker, I will fucking end
No,
this.
that's... the ironic thing is I didn't say it was least use. Most use... I mean, because you guys are literally at some point headed in a direction of these, I'm gonna say the lizard folk. There's a literal giant swamp that you guys will
where the ruins of Remar is a swamp.
And most likely by proxy, the kobolds.
That tracks.
And I have like 8 kobolds now, which is great.
I think that's around the amount I have.
Yeah, so those will probably get the most use for me. The most exciting or the most unique rare, I'll say. I don't count the Nightwalker because it's 45 out of 45. The Merit. 100%. I love this sculpt. I love Jin, and I want to use that more because they have such a beautiful cultural impact to so many games. And I think it looks cool. He's got a little aqua jet that he like spits out.
He's a fish genie.
Yeah. They're also the most notorious for screwing you over if you were to wish for something. So,
yeah.
Let's see. Most likely to put into use just because.
That's fair.
I mean, you've seen it, and if the party or anybody in the group watches this when we post it, and hears this,
whatever.
Good. This thing is terrifying. If I were to throw this out on a table, in front of people, they would think that they were all going to die. And like they are gnarly creatures. They have like a multi-attack of like 6 attacks.
Yeah.
They are not to be messed around with. But I love this sculpt, and I just wanna throw him at something. You know?
What challenge rating is the dire troll?
13, I think.
I'm looking on D&D Beyond. It's not good.
I think it's 13.
Dire 40.
7 of that.
Yeah, this one's also very much based off of the art from the book. His challenge rating 13.
Yeah, he's just dope. I'm super excited just to throw him.
Oh no, it has a multi-attack of 5 attacks, not 6.
Oh no.
What a big difference.
Yeah.
Suddenly beatable now.
Most interested in, or not most interested, we already did that. I'll say wish I had before this box set came out. No,
No, I'm just tapping it to get off
some
the
spiders.
I'm tapping it to get off the things.
The Anathema, I have to say.
Yeah.
Just because it would have been cool to throw an actual mini that was meant for that area. What I don't like is how small the mini is compared to this.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is I think out of all the ones we've opened up, this is the one I'm most disappointed in. Not necessarily that it's the least useful, but I think the expectation and where they could have gone with it is so much better than what it really turned out as. Like exactly what you're saying, too small. The weird thing with the white arms, like this is one that I would be willing to 3D print in a proper scale to really fill up that large base.
Yeah.
I think when I used this, because this mini didn't exist till now, I used the Hydra mini
from Pathfinder,
and it wasn't perfect because like, it didn't have arms.
Yeah.
But
but
it was treated pretty similar.
Yeah.
It was a good proxy.
Most paint job, I'd like to go back over with. No offense to WizKids on this if they watch this, or they probably won't. But the face is fine. I don't mind the eyes. It's just the globbiness on the skin.
Yeah, so this is pretty much impossible to see on camera because we can't get up that close without having a macro camera. But yeah, there's pretty much no color on any of the details here. There's pouches on the belt. There's like a buckle,
which it's so
it's all just flat black.
Because like if you look at the green hag whose face has like wrinkles, like you can see the wrinkles in the top of the head, and like the Goliaths who just have a flat head still have some semblance of like actual like nice detail to
yeah,
the
they have
head.
tattoos painted on.
It's just I don't know.
Yeah, this guy's face is so thickly covered in the like vinyl type primer that they add that you really don't see any facial features except the littlest hint of like the bottom of the nose and an ever so slight dimple for the mouth. Yeah, this is a pretty disappointing paint job specifically. I really enjoy the like transparent purple flames.
Oh yeah, those are. When I saw that, I was super happy with it. It reminds me of the Githrazai Anarch that they had like the shield that was throwing up to like block the arrow.
If this was repainted fully, this could be a decent Brian stand-in.
Yes, it could. If the flames were more of like a silver texture, almost like the air elemental.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can strip anything, you'd be able to strip the transparent part. One thing that sucks with these pre-painteds is the type of paint that they use isn't a normal acrylic. It's like much closer to like a vinyl, and it adheres so well that it's pretty much impossible to strip paint off of these to start fresh. You can really only add on top, which for this one, it already has no detail. If you add more layers of paint, you're only just going to take that away more. But this one, you could also just chop the head off and use a different head.
True.
I've definitely done that before with a few minis. Kit bashed them together. I made a Dragonborn fighter out of one of the Untitled minis by chopping the head off of an old Salamander mini from one of the much earlier sets. I knew I was never going to use the mini itself. I really liked the head sculpt. I didn't need to paint it because it was already the correct color.
Yeah.
I think I also chopped off the tip of its tail and glued it onto the miniature's butt to actually give it a matching tail as well.
Yeah.
I think it turned out really well. If I had it here, I'd show it. But This has a lot of improvement that could be made with it. Just the work that has to get put in.
Best paint job? I don't know
Probably
who you are.
Like green hack though.
No. I don't know who you are or how you got so good at it. The fire elemental is just it takes the cake for me.
No, fire elemental is so easy.
It is easy, but it looks so good.
It's a simple dry brush. It's not the most effective way you can paint fire, so I do have to disagree with that one. Because that's literally somebody wasn't even looking and they did that in like 10 seconds.
I still like it. I still think it looks the best.
The green hag definitely, like, there's care put into that. The dire troll has a great paint job as well.
My close number 2 when I looked at it was the tabaxi, because while it's probably just a stencil that they like click onto it, the like articulation in the eyes and the leopard print, as well as just making sure like small details in the armor, like changing the color of the armor, just it's really pretty. I really like that. That's also one of my top ones, but it's supposed to look messy. But it just looks.
This one has 8 different colors on it, though. Like, this one took time, and that, these are less common, so in their production lines, they're able to spend a little bit more time with these, whereas this just goes through. They could make these so much quicker, because it's literally like...
I still... Yeah. I think that's
I don't say I hate it. It's just, like, I don't think it deserves to.
Yeah.
Like...
I don't think I have any other superlatives to get out on this one.
I think you could definitely push the merit to like super good heights just by adding like a little bit more to it, like little deeper washes.
Maybe, throwing some wash on the face specifically. Maybe get it like a bit of a glossy wash too, so that way it looks wet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all we're gonna do tonight. We just wanted to make sure that this was done. We were gonna do it before our stream on Thursday, but
it took us an hour, so it's a good thing we didn't try to do it then.
Yeah. But if we get another set of these, we will definitely do an unboxing. We're probably going to play a game around Christmas, so when we give each other our gifts, we may just unbox them there and show you what we get. This was very quickly put together, so thank you, Idiot Goblin, for staying with us through this. We appreciate it. Any viewer is a good viewer, and we appreciate you a lot.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. You were the only person, so...
Hope you learned a lot.
Yeah.
Or at least 1 or 2 useful things.
And don't tell Kelly that we swear, because she gets mad at us when you're in the chat and we swear. So.
Don't worry, it's just between you and us.
Yeah. Until this goes on YouTube. But...
No one will ever know. I mean, it's also a VOD on...
True. Yeah.
No one will ever know.
But yeah. I think that's going to do it. If you have any further questions, specifically for those of you who are watching on YouTube,
hit us
make
up in
sure
the comments,
you
hit us up on
shoot us a
socials.
comment about any information that you want, and join the Discord that we have to get in touch with more cool people. So yeah, that's it. Hope you have a good night. We will see you on Thursday for our next episode of Mini Paint and Chill.
We're doing cloakers.
It's gonna be awesome. So thanks for joining us tonight in this very haphazard and quickly put together ordeal. We will see you on Thursday. Bye.